know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys, Joe, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from NFL playoffs to pro and college basketball, UFC, MMA, and much more. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. With live betting options, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. BetOnline is truly the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns Podcast. I'm Marcus Dash. JD will be joining us shortly. He's finishing up some stuff. He'll be joining us. Wow. Kind of nuts. It's crazy that, we had so many doubters, and I love the fact that we are kind of harping on that. Mahomes talking about all the people who thought we were going to regress and rebuild. It's funny to see all the different networks who have come out and said they didn't say that. Everyone's saying they didn't say that, and then a lot of people are saying they didn't say we were going to come out of the AFC West or even make the playoffs, but we did. And so it's funny to see. Like, I think Barstool Sports tweeted out saying, "Oh, no one said you guys are going to regress." There's an image going around from like September where they said Mahomes without Tyreek Hill was going to look like Joe Flacco, and obviously MVP in the regular season, MVP in the Super Bowl. So obviously didn't look like Joe Flacco at all this year. But yeah, no, we have a good episode in store for you guys. JD and I are going to kind of break down all the big stuff that happened in the Super Bowl, the big takeaways, and also some of the big takeaways that happened at the parade yesterday. We won't get into Matt Nagy having the time of his life yesterday, but yeah, it was cool to see everyone kind of letting their guard down a little bit and having fun with the city. I went to the parade last time, a couple of years back, and I gotta say, it looked like the crowd. I don't know if the weather played a part in it, and I don't know if anybody who's in the live right now was at it yesterday compared to what happened a couple of years ago. But like, it was like double the amount of people who were at this one compared to the last time. So it was cool to see everyone coming out. I don't know if we have more Chief fans than we did 2 years ago, but yeah. I do want to take a moment here to shout out two sponsors for the episode. We have Pickett, and you guys can look in the description below for all your sports bettors. Obviously, NFL season's over, but you got college basketball, NBA, everything going on right now. So if you guys click on the link in the description below for the Pickett Sports app, you can click that, and you guys can type in our passcode, Chiefs, and you'll get either $3 or $100, and that can be Venmo or PayPal to you. And they'll take care of that. It's a cool app. It shows your earlier percentages, all the different types of bets you've been. It kind of calculates all your stats, your wins and losses, your ties, and your pushes, and it gives you all that. So it's pretty cool. And then on top of that, we just got word that we will be partnering with Nico Sports. They're from Chesterfield, Missouri, I believe. They are going to be, we'll put this on our Twitter account later on today, but they have these 3 balls, exclusive Super Bowl balls to highlight the season, the commemorative balls. Only 5,000 are being made. And with promo code concerns, you'll get $10 off, and you guys can get the ball on their website. So a lot of good stuff going on right now in Chiefs Kingdom. But yeah, former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn will be on. My co-host will be on coming soon in the next 5 minutes, hopefully. Yeah. But I gotta say, one of the big things that we're going to go over in this episode is obviously the holding penalty that everyone's talking about, the controversial holding call. And I was watching Good Morning Football yesterday, and Ryan Leaf had a really good point that people talk about how, the game shouldn't have been – the game shouldn't have hinged on a holding penalty. They should have let the game play out. But the counter to that is, had they let that go, the Chiefs we'd be arguing about there was a hole in that play, and you can't let you can't let a season-defying play rest on no call either. So I mean, either way you look at it, whether you call it or you don't call it, they're still riding on a penalty, right? So that's one thing that a lot of people are forgetting, and I'm glad Ryan Leaf on Good Morning Football had mentioned that. I was watching that Good Morning Football today had the top 10 plays of the year for the Chiefs, and number 1 was Nick Bolton's scoop and score in the Super Bowl, which I thought was surprising. And I think they had the snow goal play at number 10 overall. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? I just curious on that. What do you guys think? But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting offseason. I've already seen the DeAndre Hopkins rumors, Keenan Allen rumors. Those guys have already tweeted about playing with Mahomes. And it was just kind of a contrast when you think about what Keenan Allen had said about the Tyreek Hill trade, how it's going to expose some people this year. And now he's tweeting at the end of the season that Patrick Mahomes is different. So it's pretty interesting that that's being taken place. And then JuJu, we're going to get into that. JuJu's Valentine's Day greeting to James Bradbury. I thought that was, I don't know. There's two ways you can go with that. Are we embracing the bad guy image or what? Because, like, we aren't a team that's a showboat. I think Justin Reed calling out Hayden Hurst this year, that was one thing that, like, that Andy Reid talked about. We don't like doing that. And then I think the next time we played Cincinnati, we didn't really talk about it at all. So it's interesting that whole JuJu Smith-Schuster thing happened. But we got our guy, Jason Dunn, coming on here right now to join the conversation. JD.
What's up? What's going on?
How are you, man? Super Bowl champs. We saw each other the other day on the giveaway live stream we had, but
yes.
We had the parade yesterday. I mean, that it looked like it was double the amount the last time when you and I were there 2 years ago. I think it was double the amount of people came out. And I think they had a drone shot of everybody out there. It was like almost 1 million people, they said.
Really? Oh, well, I can imagine. You let school out. I think everybody kind of got a little bit more prepared, this time around. I think it kind of welcomed even more people. And so, yeah, I could see it being almost 1 million people. If they said it was almost 1 million people, then wow, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Like I said, we went to the first one, man. It was massive. Mm-hmm. I seen the drone shot, and I was like, was it really more people? So if it was, yeah, man, I could see it. I can see it. But also, too, I've seen a little, I guess on Twitter, Lance was like, they brought more of the Yahoos out, more of the ones that, I don't know, not so good people, put it that way. Maybe fans and stuff, he was saying. I don't know. Maybe it was just somebody's assertion or something, or maybe they seen, or maybe it was just some craziness going on. I have no idea. But I had gotten some pictures and whatnot from Sean Barber, who was there with, Dwayne Clemens. I seen Eric Hicks. I'm trying to think of other guys that was there, former players. So yeah, man, it looked great. I wish I was there, man. I had another prior engagement, speaking engagement I had to do at the university, which I had a great time doing it, man. But everybody was just saying, man, they see my Chiefs hat. I wore my Chiefs hat there. Nice. They're just kind of congratulating the Chiefs and the win. I was just like, I'm just being a fan. That's it. So yeah, congratulations. There it is. Super Bowl 57, baby. Yes, sir.
JD, being a player, and I know we kind of talked about this when we first did our first ever podcast during COVID. That was around the time we had our first Super Bowl. But being a player that played for the Chiefs for so long, and you played with successful teams, the Dick Vermeil era, then you played with teams that towards the end of your tenure there with the Herm teams, you still made the playoffs your final year there. But I mean, it wasn't like, you kind of fell in hard times. You had the good years, the Dick, and then you kind of fell in a little bit of hard times with the Herm years. But like to see this team go to 3 Super Bowls in the last 4 years, but win 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years, what does that mean to you as a former player of the Chiefs? But also, how does it make you feel for like the fan base that never really got to see that when you played, but now they get to see that? What does that mean to you?
Man, I'm just so happy. I'm happy for the city. I'm happy for the organization. And it's saddening because we weren't able to get it done. I think we had some teams that absolutely could have won the Super Bowl. And of course, obviously, as football goes, somebody makes a play more than we do, and here we are. We don't win it, but it's good to see like now Kansas City is having that success, and I'm glad these guys are able to do it. And I'm seeing the guys that was on stage, and I'm just so happy for them. Really, and just that feeling that they have, just being elated, winning the game. To me, man, it's very satisfying. And like I said, I'm just so happy for the city in itself that they're able to experience this whole winning culture that's going on, right? And the guys there, man, are really good guys. And so Kansas City's deserved it for a long time. And the thing is, this time is right. It's right for when they said talking about a dynasty. Somebody was asking, well, do you think that Patrick can repeat it? I've said absolutely. You start getting some more pieces in, I don't see anything stopping them unless Patrick's not there or, Kelce's going downhill, all of those different things that is very important to their success. And so as long as that whole operation, Patrick Mahomes, Kelce, Andy Reid, doing his thing and getting good pieces in, I mean, I think that we could definitely talk about, being a dynasty, no doubt about it, So
you mentioned dynasty, and you said talk about being a dynasty. So you're saying right now that 2 Super Bowls is not enough to say dynasty yet. I
don't think so. I think you're moving into the conversation. If you say 3, definitely a dynasty, right? And so you go to 3, okay, in that span in the 5 years, and so you lose 1, you win 2. I still think that you need another ring, another win to be considered a dynasty. At least that's my definition of dynasty. I don't think of teams if you just win 2 is just being a dynasty. So you could say dominant during that era and time, like we could say how with San Francisco or Dallas when they was winning theirs, or Denver at the time. You call it a dynasty? I don't know, not necessarily. At least, like I said, for me, and I think we win 1 more. There's no doubt about it that Kansas City is a dynasty. But come on, look, 5 AFC championships games, being there, and so I think, man, you get into that talk of those things, right?
Yeah. No, I was just curious because I've seen so many things. I've said the word dynasty. It's more fun because I have a Raiders brother, Ratcher. He won the Super Bowl. He was watching the game with us. I was like dynasty, baby. He was like, yeah, okay, dynasty. Well, hold off on that talk. But like, yeah, I think it's funny to say. But I mean, you're right. There's a reason why there's this thing called like when you have 3, it puts you in a different class. There's a word for it. You have to repeat for teams that win 3 in a row. Obviously, It's not going to happen right now. It's not going to happen. But like, I mean, 3 puts you in a different class. How we won that Buccaneers one, yes, we'd be talking dynasty right now.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And that, to me, like I said, I mean, you got to put it in perspective, right? It's hard getting, to these games and winning them. That's the thing about it. It's just tough just being there, but getting to the games, like the championship games and winning is another thing, man. So I just think, man, this we just got to talk about, like, really, because it's what people start hating. I don't like when other teams talk about that. Oh man, we a dynasty. Really? Hey, I get it. You're very good. That's you're right there. I don't know if dynasty is the right word to use, but we're right. We're heading in the right direction for that thing.
It's a historic run, regardless. Dynasty or not. Okay, so we're gonna we haven't really broken down the Super Bowl yet. So I took out the biggest nuggets and the biggest things everyone's talking about online and just in general. You played in the league for a long time, and everyone last year we had when Odell tore his ACL during the Super Bowl, it's like, oh man, we can't be playing on turf anymore. You can't be playing on that. Then you go and play in the Arizona Cardinals stadium, and I don't know what the exact if it's a field turf or what kind of turf that is exactly in that Arizona Cardinals stadium, or if it's grass.
It's grass.
Oh, yeah. It's grass.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that takes away the whole narrative of being safe, because that game, I think Brian Baldinger posted a tweet on. There's one of Mahomes, his 16-yard scramble that he had. Mm-hmm. If you look, On that play, there's 6 or 7 guys who fell and tripped on that play. And the whole game, it was like happened like that. And our team, we got to play in Arizona week 1. That's when Harrison Butker got hurt on that kick where he slipped. And going into this game, we apparently prepared for that, the slippery conditions. Obviously, it's only so much you can do to prepare for slippery conditions, but we had done that. That was kind of part of our game plan over the last few weeks. And I'm sure there's ways to kind of mimic that. But what do you think the league needs to do as far as like hosting sites, as far as like hosting a Super Bowl on the biggest stage, given the biggest stage on a field like that in that condition? And that's something that people always say about the Arizona Cardinals field, is that it is a slippery field, and they know that going into this. Should the NFL be looking at things differently as far as looking at to where to put these Super Bowl games? Because I mean, that kind of takes away an element of the game, don't you think? Of having playing this game on that kind of field.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, people were saying it, and I'll be honest, man, I didn't notice that much of it until somebody said something. I was just like, okay, I don't know, maybe. But the thing is, man, if you know you're going to be playing a Super Bowl, you got to make sure that the field conditions, everything is pristine, right? That everybody is going to be as safe as possible, so that if anything does happen, like it doesn't come back and say, well, look, this is the reason because of the field conditions or whatever. But I think it is the responsibility of whoever the whole city is to make sure everything is right. But it should be in consideration. But look, the guys played all year in Arizona. So it's not like we don't know that this is a field condition you have to be playing with or playing on, right? I guess they kind of figured and factor in like, well, look, guys haven't played on it all season. I haven't really seen too many injuries come out of it unless you have. Now, if there was like a high count of guys like injuries come out of it, that would be concerning. But, guys slipping and stuff like that, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really notice that much. I think people made a bigger deal about it than I did. But sometimes, man, everybody's playing in them, right? Because you used to say the same thing about turf. Like, oh, man, turf makes guys fast. It's unfair conditions. Well, everybody's playing on turf, right? So who's getting any advantage of it? So I think if you do have something like that and it's like, okay, it's blatantly people are, slipping and doing all those different things, then you had to look into it.
Yeah. And I saw something, and I think this was more Chief fan driven, but it was like, because, the Super Bowls, they always want to play these in, warm climates, domes, stadium type atmospheres.
Right. And
I think it was a Chief fan who tweeted, and it stuck to me a little bit, but it was like more like, if we're going to play in conditions like this, then we may as well play in outdoor stadiums and let stadiums like Arrowhead host the Super Bowl if we don't really care about field conditions and stuff, and we're letting guys, if we're putting guys and letting them subject themselves to be in slippery conditions like this. So the elements don't matter, then let them play in an actual stadium like Arrowhead or something like that, or Buffalo Stadium.
No,
what are your thoughts on that?
No, man. Look, you still want warm weather. I don't care what you do. You don't want to be cold. You just don't want to be in a cold city. That doesn't make any sense at all. But I do say that, at least when you do have that, if you know that you're the whole city, you make sure that something like a situation like this doesn't occur.
Yeah. And that was one thing that Kelce did mention that on his podcast was the paint. Like on the field, like, they had a logo, the Super Bowl logo, like, and I was actually scared on the game-winning field goal. I think we were at the end of that Super Bowl logo. I was like, oh shoot! I was like, that's that paint is. I was like, I hope nothing happens. Obviously, nothing happened there, but like, yeah, that they said that area is where the paint, where that other extra logo was. That's where a lot of the slippage was happening on the sidelines and in the middle of the field.
Well, Jokers got to get their logo out there, man.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be some extra. We'll make sure we know who's doing it, okay? Talk to the league office about that. That's who hey, write a letter. Hey, dear Roger Goodell, NFL, okay? This logo thing is ridiculous. So.
Yeah, I'm sure some Eagles fans will have Chris Jones send that logo to Roger Goodell after that embrace he had after the game. They had everyone saying, "Oh, it's all rigged for the Chiefs." Look at that.
Yeah, look, that's you're gonna hear it talk.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't look. Why entertain it? Really? Yeah. Why entertain it? I mean, somebody's always going to say something like that. We know there's idiots out there. It's rigged. All look at the last play. I'm sure we're going to talk and bring that up too with the holding call and whatnot. Nacho, when he was sitting there thinking, I'm just like, man, what do we do with you? I mean, honestly, I mean, you just argue the point. I get that you play for, Philly at a time, and you want to make your argument, and then it's just TV. So it's crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny too. It's like you have so many people, Eagles fans, and I don't expect them to watch Chiefs games.
Yeah.
But I was arguing with the guy because I'm a 76ers fan, so there's a lot of overlap there with people who are Philadelphia Eagles fans. So I saw this one guy who was tweeted about the hug that Goodell had with him, and it was like, because I in that little quick little snippet, we don't hear the whole conversation. We just hear him. I think he says, I don't care about the way you hit the quarterback or something like that. And I was like, we don't know. The context matters on this. We don't know what kind of conversations they've had before. You don't watch Chiefs games, so you don't know how many times Chris Jones has been penalized for roughing the passer or any of those kind of things. So you don't know that. So context matters. Then also the embrace that he had with Roger Goodell was mimicked the one that he had with Roger Goodell on draft night, where he picked him up and had that really big embrace with him and stuff. And you don't get these. The context matters in those situations, and Eagles fans don't understand that. They just think, oh, Roger Goodell's telling him he doesn't care how he hits the quarterback. It's like, there's probably some joke in there between the two of them because of how many times Chris has been penalized for roughing the passer.
I'm sure, and I'm sure it's been a point that Roger Goodell's been on his desk, about certain guys doing particular things, and I'm sure it's been like a topic of interest sent from the Chiefs saying, like, look, man, look, you can look into this. Chris is not doing anything that is malicious. In no way. He's just playing football. Why is he being fined for something that he's being paid to do, right? And so he's supposed to get after the quarterback. He gets after the quarterback, but we feel like the way he's being treated is unfairly. Mm-hmm. So, they can look at that, man. But look, they have a rapport. Chris Jones is one of the faces of the NFL. I mean, we got to be honest about that. We're talking about a guy who was up for Defensive Player of the Year, right? Probably should have won it, to be honest with you. I think he was really snubbed. That's me personally. But he's one of the stars of the NFL, period. So that's just what it is. And so you're going to have that with the commissioner knowing who those guys are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think with NBA and the NFL, for me, I think both MVP awards, Defensive Player of the Year awards, I think all of those need to kind of have somewhat. I know the regular season awards.
Yeah.
But look at it, JD. One of the things they always look at when they look at MVP, when they look at these big time awards, they look at where your team is ranked. So being in the playoffs does kind of matter a little bit. Winning does matter. So I think they need to take a little bit of playoffs when it comes to some of these awards. I mean, that's what I think. But.
Of course. I mean, it's the full scope of it. I think, this your entirety you're playing throughout the entire year, right? What you do. Mm-hmm. But, to me, man, I don't know how when the voting came out and, he only received a certain many votes. I'm just like, who is not watching this guy play? Right? Yeah. Is it because we are more kind of looking at the offense? Is that the reason? Because more of our focus is on Patrick Mahomes and that side of the ball, and we don't quite see the brilliance of Chris Jones, and then maybe the lack of what he's worked. The other guy that might not be doing as much as he's doing, and the way he's going from defensive tackle to defensive end, making plays. I mean, this guy ended up having, how many sacks was it this year?
I want to say 15 and a half.
Come on, man. Are you kidding? Seriously? And he's, 15 and a half sacks, defensive tackle. It goes to defense every once in a while. Every blue moon gets something, 15 and a half sacks, and I just don't get it. I don't.
Yeah. Well, it's the same reason why you saw so many people picking the Eagles was that our defense as a whole gets overlooked. And I think people forgot how good our defense was, and they don't know how good our defense is because people are focused on the offense. And that's just the thing with the Chiefs over the last 5 years. Good offense, suspect defense. It's like, no, our defense is actually better than everyone thinks. And the people who knew about our defense, and that was the thing. That was one thing too, JD. And of course you do. Of course we do. But like seeing the amount of former players or current players who are going on these shows, I think Stephon Diggs, teams who played us. Stephon Diggs went on a show and he was like, "Nah, I'm picking the Chiefs." I mean, I think people are sleeping on how good that defense is. And a lot of players who played against us, I think I saw Bengals went on one of the shows. I think it was Chase, I believe, or Higgins. One of the shows was like they picked us, and it was like, okay, the guys who played against us are picking us. Yeah. They know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. Shoot, they felt the wrath of the Chiefs defense. Mm-hmm. They know what it is, and so we watched it all year. We see it. We've seen the development of the young secondary. We've seen how good Bolton has been playing. Like it's something else. Like, oh my God, Bolton's incredible. He's been incredible all year. So, okay, it's not news to us. As far as their defensive line and what they've been doing all year too. Frank Clark, how he came in, during the playoffs, was coming in, had spurts during the season, was just showing his himself when he comes up. We know what they had. We know that. All these other guys, all these other analysts and whatnot are watching other football. They're watching their teams, and I get that part of it. Or they're trying to watch everything, and they don't know enough of, Chiefs in itself and how good the defense is. And so like I said, we've seen that development, man. It's just, and those guys that played against them, they know for a fact how good they are. They've watched these guys develop. And so probably those guys should have taken a pause. All those dudes, Howie and all those dudes should have probably sit back like, oh, okay. These dudes are saying, Chiefs are going to win. And they ain't saying it just because, they lost and that they're not in there. Or they just going for the AFC team. They're going to because they like, look, this secondary is really, really good.
Yeah.
So can you imagine? And here's the thing about it. Now, where they're going to be at for the rest of the, in these next few years. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Come on now. But I mean, that's what I'm so happy about. If these guys keep, ascending to where they can be, dude, I'm telling you, that secondary in the NFL, I'm talking about for a number of years to come. I mean, you just keep that core guys together. Then we're talking about that's the whole dynasty talk, right? There you go. That's what you need.
And you're talking about guys who, we pride ourselves in hitting on these 4th and 7th round gems, right? These guys are going to be making a lot of money in a couple of years, JD. If they continue at the rate they're going, they're going to make themselves a lot of money.
A lot of money. Maybe not with the Chiefs as way, he does and Beats does. Beats is, hey, man, I love it. Get your money somewhere else. No, but look, hey, hats off to him, man. Like I said, the whole organization. But we talked about these guys. We talked about Cook coming in, right? We named his name. Shoot, Karlaftis. We talked about him, okay?
Williams,
Johnson. Come on, man. We was bringing these names up about this is who the Chiefs need to go get. So, so Marks, maybe we had a hand in it. I don't know.
Hey, you and I were all over this rookie class. So one of the things we talk about the hype that the Eagles got going into this game was their pass rush. We talked about how lethal their pass rush, depth wise, amazing. I think the only team in NFL history to have 4 players with 10 plus sacks on their team. So got a lot of praise. And we talked about the keys to victory for us was going to be the O-line, keeping Patrick safe and clean. And they did that. 0 sacks. That was a shirt they wore during the parade yesterday. 0 sacks, put it on a shirt, as Orlando Brown said. And we put it on a shirt. And on top of that, something that you said was key all season long to unlocking the next generation of this Chiefs offense was getting the run game going. And looks like the second half of the season, and maybe because of Mahomes' injury, maybe it could be we kind of ignited that running game even more. So we had Pacheco, who dominated. I think his numbers in the game, 15 carries, 76 yards, and then McKinnon's 4 carries, 34 yards.
Yeah.
What were your takeaways from the offensive line play? Obviously amazing, and obviously we're going to have conversations about how much Orlando Brown should get paid based on his postseason, and I think we even got Wiley paid. Maybe not with us, but he's going to get paid because of his performance in the playoffs, particularly in that Super Bowl game. But what was your takeaway from the offensive line when it mattered most in the prime time?
I mean, it did an exceptional job. I mean, we talked about that. That's exactly what they needed to do. They needed to stop the pass rush of the Philadelphia Eagles. And they did that. When we needed them to step up big, they accomplished it. And so they took it on their shoulders. They did. They knew Patrick Mahomes had to be protected this game. If there's anything that you had to do, had to go all the way in on this, it had to be this game right here. And so part of that to slow it down was you had to run the football. And Andy and them adopted that. I think at a certain point, I forgot when we was down. I don't know quite what point in the game, but we were down and we tried to throw the ball. I'm just like, why are we doing? Like, we don't have to start passing the ball. Run the football. Like, that's what's going to win the game. You got to make sure that you are staying, reliable on the run. You have to do it. And so Pacheco start running. He started getting yards. He was running hard. Those guys up front was wanting to just mash those guys up front. And that's what they did. They was hitting the defensive, the defensive tackles, the ends, the linebackers. They was doing such a tremendous job. Like I said, big guys up front want to hit. They want to hit guys. They don't want to sit back and pass rush all the time, and try to stop these dudes. So man, hats off to him. Hats off to Pacheco, McKinnon, those guys for setting the tone of the game, because that's exactly what it was. When you set the tone of the game with running the football and just being, as physical you want to be, that's what it's all about. I said it. Whoever wins the line of scrimmage is going to win the game, period. It's all about the trenches. They kept talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, how good their offensive line was, right? They kept talking about it. That's all they kept talking about was how good Philly's line was. I'm like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Kansas City Chiefs had a great offensive line too. That's the reality of it. So while we keep sitting over here, and basically, disrespecting them because of a couple of snafus the guys had, right, through the year. Hey, look, I'm good with the guys that we have. We cool with that. So, hey, man, hats off to the offensive line for doing a great job keeping Patrick Mahomes upright. That was the key to the game.
Yeah. I have a few more questions about the O-line, but we got a question here from our guy, TPT, Chiefs Football Podcast. Thank you for that kind contribution, my friend. So who should be the 3 running backs in Kansas City next year, JD?
I mean, I think, Pacheco for sure, McKinnon for sure. Third guy, I don't know. That's a good question. My thing is, do you still get something out of the best that we have? Is CH a viable guy being here? I'm not sure. I think maybe he has a chance to go out on the market, see what he can do. But maybe his time here is done. I'm just saying this. But then you got, your Gordon, you got Rojo, those guys you have here. And you could get a rookie, but I think you stay with your core guys. I think Rojo, man, kind of, you got to give him a chance, man. You got to give him a shot. I don't think he had.
I think he was only signed a 1-year deal. Though.
1-year deal. I thought he did a 2-year. Okay, just 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then, he may not want to, do that thing again, right? He wants to he's like, hey man, I'm out. I'm not being utilized. Let me go somewhere, right? But now, what did help him out, because he doesn't have a lot of miles on his legs. He can go somewhere, man, get paid. Sure.
Yeah. I read a stat about Rojo, actually. He became the first USC Trojan to ever win a Super Bowl in the AFC and the NFC. First USC Trojan ever do that.
Really? Okay.
Okay. So the hat's off to Rojo on that one.
Rojo, man. Congratulations, buddy.
I think obviously the running game, and you're right, it was that second half, right? When we came back, our first drive out of halftime, that's when we established the running game again, because we stopped running the ball. And I remember watching the game, like, what the hell, why we stopped running the ball? All of a sudden, we came out, and I don't know if it was because of Mahomes, it had re-aggravated the ankle, where he came out right away, handing the ball off, to keep the ball out of his hands, making it more of a balanced approach. And that's what you've been talking about all year. Sometimes we just forget about how that balanced attack and how lethal that can be. And we saw how lethal it can be and once you get it going.
Look, even though we're a superior passing team, no doubt about it, one of the best in the NFL, but you still had to keep defenses honest. And so if you establish a run against a very good pass rushing team, that negates what they can do up front. It really does. And so it just made sense to me. When you're thinking about how do you keep the defense like that, the Eagles defense off balance, running the football. And you got to trust the guys up front. You got to trust the guys you're giving the hand of the ball off to. Look, we understand Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football, right? But there's no reason why he should do it all on him. There's no reason. It's a team. It's a team game, okay? Let these guys up front and establish the run. Pacheco and McKinnon, them, they are hungry to be a part of what's going on. And so they were. And I'm so glad that they wanted to go to it. I was like, no, don't go there. Don't do it. And he's like, hold on, man. Let's run the football. Let's see what we can get. Worked beautifully. I'm like, there you go. That's how it works. That's how it works.
One more thing on the O-line. How much do you think, obviously the whole talk about the Eagles pass rush, but how much do you think the because I think the offensive line, after Mahomes got hurt in that Jacksonville game, we saw a new, found extra motivation for them. And something that obviously their whole goal was to never let the quarterback get hurt or get injured or get touched at all. But it seemed like we saw a new, different vibe out of those guys after that drive, after Mahomes got hurt in that Jags game and Henny came in. It seemed like even in the Bengals game, we saw a different kind of ferociousness behind those guys. How much do you think the offensive line's kind of run in the playoffs was contributed to that injury that Mahomes suffered in that Jags game?
Great deal. Because you can put it on yourself that maybe, they might have been the reason he was hurt, right? Them not doing their job. And so as a player, offensive line, whatever, if you're blocking guys, you don't want to be the guy to give up the sack or something like that while your quarterback is in that position. And I know they took it upon themselves. And so I would have, immediately, I don't care who it was, the leader on the offense line, whoever it is, Thuney, Orlando Brown Jr., whoever it may be, somebody's like, listen, that right there is beat. Yes, we can't let that happen. That's our quarterback. That's on us. We cannot let him get touched. And I know somebody went in and challenged every single one of these guys. I'm sure the coach came out there and challenged every single one of these guys. And this guy is like, look, we are not going to let this happen on our watch. We can't let it happen on our watch. And so they took it upon themselves. I know they did. That we got to protect Patrick Mahomes. And so when you're talking about reinvigorated as far as like what they was trying to do, the motivation, that's what it is. It's like you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the problem. You don't want to be the issue. And so as a unit, you take pride in what you do. You take pride. This is what we get paid to do, man. We're not doing our job. Is that what it is? Are we going to be the ones that's looked at as being, the laughing stock of the Chiefs and why we're not successful? So that was absolutely a key. I think it was probably one of the main factors, if not the factor, why Patrick didn't see any type of, hits like he was seeing, all during the year.
Yeah. My brother's actually coming in here, chiming in here. Mock or Bijan Robinson. Yeah. I don't like that at all. I don't think there is a need to go get a first round running back. I love Bijan Robinson. Also, I don't know if you knew this, JD. Bijan, I believe. I think I saw because Bijan's a Persian name. It's a half Persian. I saw that his family actually named him Bijan because they heard it. I forget where they heard it, but they looked at what Bijan meant. I believe Bijan means warrior in Persian and Farsi, so that's why they named him that. Which I thought it's a cool thing. Whenever I see that kind of stuff, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't like to pick, so we're not gonna have the brothers at it. Like, hey, man, like, yeah,
I love him.
Huh?
I love the guy. I love him as a player, but I just don't think we need that. There's other things we can spend in the first round. Yeah,
not a first round. We got more needs, more dire needs, no doubt about it. But I mean, he heck of a player. Love to have him, but
yeah. CH wasn't a need either. You're right. We have plenty of time to get in on the draft talk, guys.
Right. There's no needs. I say there's a need. There's needs there. Running back is probably fifth down the list, fifth or sixth.
Far down, yeah. But so obviously we're gonna JD kind of alluded to this. We were gonna get into the controversial call on James Bradbury in the game on Sunday. So obviously, end of the game, James Bradbury holds JuJu. We're trying. It looks like we're trying to do that same corn. What are they calling the corn dog route, the whip route.
Yeah.
And Bradbury holds JuJu. They call it. People are saying the game shouldn't have hinged on that. That we got the automatic first down, and that was pretty much it. We were able to run the clock out, kick the field goal with about 8 seconds left. But JD, I've seen so many people online. Everyone, even Bradbury himself, said it was a hold.
Yes.
But that wasn't the situation where you called that. That's what everyone's saying. I'm not saying that. I think a penalty is a penalty. You call it. But of course, if we were on the other side of that, I'd probably have a different opinion. But it's a penalty, and Bradbury himself said it. He was hoping the ref wouldn't call it. What do you make of this? Should it have been called or not, JD?
Absolutely should have been called because you're impeding him going to get to the ball. If somebody was like, oh, well, it's overthrown, but it's not, we didn't say, defensive pass interference. This is a holding call. You can't hold the guy. I don't care at what point, one time, you're not around the football, you cannot hold a receiver, period. That's the name of the game. That's the rule. That is a rule. And so all of a sudden, we're not supposed to call the rule. We're not supposed to make that calling because it's at the end of the game and it's not part. But don't do it then. How about you don't do it, Bradbury? How about you don't hold him? Okay. Why don't you just cover him? And so he admitted to holding the guy, and he was like, look, I held him. I was hoping I was going to get away with it. Hey, guess what? You got caught. You got caught. So be it. So he admits he did wrong. Okay. We know it's a rule. You're supposed to make the call, but now all of a sudden people don't want to make that call because it determines the game. Well, what if all of a sudden he doesn't catch the football because of it, right? Oh, well, we can't make that call. Now, look, I can understand if it was something like, let's say maybe a rule. Okay. I thought about this. Maybe let's say like a sideline infraction. Okay. You don't make that call. That's a call you don't make at the end of the game, right? Because you haven't been calling this. But this is something that is absolutely imperative to what happens and determines what's going on in the game, right? Or a guy catching the football or not catching the football, or being a receiver, a viable receiver or not, especially if he's a primary guy. He's a primary receiver on this route. So you're telling me just because under 2 minutes or whatever time, you don't make a call like that. That is bogus. That's the most bogus argument I've ever heard in my life. Right? Seriously. I mean, we think about it. Now, I could go through so many references as far as sports-wise why you should make that call. It's the same thing like at the end of the game in basketball, a guy goes up and you slap his arm. Oh, you should make that call. Why not? He got fouled. Don't foul him. Coach is upset because it's like, oh, why'd you foul him?
Yeah.
He knows the guy messed up. He's telling him, don't foul the guy. I'm sure defensive coordinators tell him, don't hold the guy. If you hold him, he might get held. Same thing. If offensive lineman holds somebody, takes him down, oh, don't call that. Why not? He held him. He threw him down. So now all of a sudden we're not supposed to legitimize, the calls now from officiating, from officials. If they're not valid now, we're just supposed to take it all out. Okay, 2 minutes, just let them play. To me, that's the craziest thing ever. Because at the end of the game, if I know it defensively or something like that, offensively, I know you're not gonna make a call. There's no way you'll get a sack on me if I'm an offensive lineman, because I'm gonna hold the dog out of you, right? So all of a sudden, all the rules are just down. But none. You can do whatever. Trip him up, high-low a guy. What? Come on, man. So I just, to me, it's infuriating because people are actually making this a point. You don't want officials to do their job. Oh, well, make it consistent. Well, shoot, they ain't gonna get everything, but they caught that one though. They caught that one. Shoot. So all of a sudden, you ain't supposed to do this. You ain't gonna make this call, man. Come on, dude. That's silly. Yeah, the whole D forward, right? Don't call D forward. Man, he's all sides. What are you talking about? He's supposed to be back. He should know that. So, oh man, my little spiel, man. When I heard he didn't like it. Oh, you didn't like it. So what? Big deal. Okay. Tell Bradbury don't hold it. How about that?
Yeah.
How about you don't like Bradbury in that second, in that moment? Okay.
It's like everyone was looking at this game through the eyes of entertainment aspect. Oh, well, we wanted to see Jalen Hurts with the ball with a minute 50 left. Yeah, okay.
Ain't how it works.
That's not how it works.
Hey, listen, that whole the script, the script wasn't written that way. Okay. Jalen Hurts. Everyone how the script was written. 2 minutes, doesn't get the ball with 2 minutes. Okay. Does not get the ball. Does not get the ball. Okay? He doesn't. 2 minutes. That's not on the script. Okay? Everybody looking at the script, you don't get it. Get out of here with that, man. That's crazy. That's so silly. They won't see it. Hey, guess what? It's a chess game at that moment, right? Did a tremendous job. Great job by Jerick McKinnon, which was, to me, was the play of the game. It was the play of the game for me. Seriously,
JD, I have a question. So when they asked Jerick McKinnon about that, he said that's church mode. That's what they call that play. I guess it's something they practice. They call it church mode, where he just like, I guess in that situation, they that's what they call it. Church mode is what he was calling it. So pretty much. I don't know if that was a normal term that the little guy said. Maybe it's an Andy Reid new school Andy Reid thing.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, church mode. I mean, what is supposed to be? I don't understand.
That's just if you have I guess the opportunity to score, you kneel down at the 1 yard line. You don't score.
Oh, then you kneel it. Oh, I got it. You kneel. Okay, kneel in prayer. Some you just go down. I got it. Yeah. Church mode. Church mode. I get you. It's good. No, but it's you know what? It's refreshing that actually. That you do practice that. And it is situational football. This is what I'm talking about. When things happen on the field, I don't think people and fans understand that we practice these things that you do practice. You practice situational football all the time. And the thing is, you have McKinnon in at that moment, a veteran who knows that. Pacheco would have ran in.
Yeah.
He would have ran in. He'd have been so excited, he would have ran in. So, or ran out of bounds, right? Or one of the two. But McKinnon, hey, headsy player, intelligent player. That's why you keep a guy like that around, man. That's the dude. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I will say with the Eagles, if they were letting him score, they were letting him have that end zone. If I was one of those defenders, man, I would try to take McKinnon and try to carry him into the end zone with me or something. I try to move him with me or something.
Oh yeah, no, he gave himself up. So yeah, it'd be but they're like, I guess you ain't supposed to call that either. That'd be another one.
Yeah.
So silly, man. So silly. I'm sorry. It's so silly, Marcus. To me, I'm sitting there just watching this. These people go crazy on this. I'm just like, hold on. The player admits to holding. Okay, he admits he was wrong. Everybody knows it is holding, and it is wrong. But we're not supposed to make that call because people want to be entertained, right? Oh, it's to determine the game. Sorry for you. I don't know what to tell you.
It's not football.
It's not. Come on, man.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the entertainment aspect of it. I get it. You have a lot of casuals who won't watch football all year round. So they wanted to see this guy. They want to see Jalen Hurts get a minute 30 to drive down the field and knot it up and go to overtime. Sorry, it's not how things work.
Right. I didn't want to see that. I was, the way that everything was flowing. Not saying that our defense couldn't have stopped them, but you just didn't want to give him that chance and opportunity, right? Because he was on fire. They was shooting. They was on high powered. And so, at those moments, players step up big, right? Yeah. And so he's just like, look, we're going to make sure we take that out of the equation. We're going to run the clock down. I was just hoping like Buckner, like, okay, you missed one earlier, but man, you make sure the sucker's down the middle.
Yeah.
Make sure it's down the middle. Go ahead, Buck. Go ahead, baby.
So a follow-up to this whole James Bradberry JuJu thing. I don't know if you caught any of this Twitter beef. Because I'll tell you what, the Eagles and Chiefs, for the last 2 weeks, it's been pretty solid. There's been no bad blood between the two teams, no crap talking, no nothing. It's been great. But then on Valentine's Day, JuJu did a little something. I just want to ask your opinion on this. So Valentine's Day, JuJu tweeted out a photo that had a picture of James Bradberry on it, and it said, "I'll hold you when it matters most," along with the message saying, "Happy Valentine's Day, everybody," which everyone around the league, Tyreek Hill was trying to instigate stuff online between Eagles players and JuJu. AJ Brown came on and tweeted at him. Actually, AJ Brown was pretty rough with what he said to JuJu, saying that Mahomes saved his career essentially. But what do you think about this? Was this foul?
I think, man, JuJu should have been above it. It was funny, and everybody took it as a joke, but it ain't funny to the guy. And AJ, he came in with, man, he swooped down quick on JuJu with some bows on him, right? So I was like, wow, okay. And the thing is, and AJ didn't have to go there either, but he kind of figured, man, you gonna go there? I'm gonna go there with him. If AJ just left his comments like being above it, saying like, look, man, this is low. You don't have to do that, and left it there, then it would have been like on the high road of it. But he couldn't step. He like, I'm gonna hit you on this eye with this one. I'm gonna hit you in the eye. Mm-hmm. You ain't that guy. You've never been that guy. And all the, I'm just like, here we go with the whole Twitter thing, Twitter beef. It need to be said. Look, it was kind of funny, but when you the joke's on you, nobody likes laughing at it, But hey, man. This is the pettiness. This is what social media is all about, ain't it? It's the pettiness. That's what it is. You say something like that, a joke like that with your boys or something like that, cool. Something, but hey, man, it's crazy.
I will say we've been pretty we've heard a lot of guys talking crap about us all year. You got people talking about Burrowhead this, the Bengals guys talking about us, Keenan Allen talking about us, all these types of guys saying stuff about our team. And we haven't said crap to anybody. We win the Super Bowl now. And I was, you act like you've been there before, but like also at the same time, like once you do come out on top, I think you are justified to call out certain people. I don't know if Bradberry's the right guy to call it out to, but I mean, you are able to come out. You are to kind of say whatever you want to say to a certain extent, right?
I mean, yeah, man. Look. If you want to talk smack, go ahead. As long as you backing it up, that's what it's all about. So we don't know what was all being said out there, what all the chirping could have been, and maybe JuJu was like, "Hey, man, shoot, he was talking noise. I'm gonna talk noise right back to him. Let everybody know."
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Look, I'm one. I'll talk noise. I talk smack all the time. And look, I could give some good ones. I've taken some good ones. It's all part of the game, man. If you got tough enough skin to deal with it, then fine. So be it. That's where it's gonna be.
Yeah. Nobody. I watched 69-70 Super Bowl laying on my belly on an old rope rug, barely a teenager. Wow. Hey, man, you've witnessed all three of them, baby. There you go, bud. Congratulations to you, man.
So cool right there.
It is cool. That's awesome. And you'll appreciate this, JD. And so would nobody. But my brother, who was a Raiders fan, my entire life always said, three rings, buddy, three trophies, because the Raiders have 3 Super Bowls. And as the game after we kicked off the ball, and it was before their last heave, the Eagles, I was like, well, now you can't say. I was like, you used to say you haven't won a Super Bowl since Woodstock. Now you can't say you have 3 rings anymore. So there it goes. That he goes, yeah, I guess that's done now.
yeah. Now the bragging rights is now it's in your court, right?
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna finish off here. We talked about the parade a little bit. But one of the big takeaways from the parade, obviously, everyone was having a great time, very jovial. Matt Nagy was having the time of his life. He was that guy. That guy was sloshed. I don't know if he knows something that we don't know that he celebrated, because there's potential that EB could be going on to the Commanders to be the OC there, and that probably means maybe a promotion for Nagy. But I don't know if he knows. But he was just really happy. All the guys were really excited and happy yesterday. It was cool to see everyone let their guard down and be just normal people for once, and not just not the NFL players, right? They were just normal people happy and celebrating. Yeah. At the end of the parade, Chris Jones, Mitch Holthus didn't want to give him the mic. He didn't want to give Chris Jones the mic, but Mahomes did his speech. Kelce did his speech. Everyone did their speech, Nick Bolton. And then we were about to close out. And then Chris Jones like, no, grab the microphone from Holthus. Holthus didn't want to give it to him. But essentially, Chris Jones ignites the run it back chance, which has gotten some mixed reviews on Twitter from Subchief fans who say that was a failed season because we didn't win the Super Bowl that year. We lost to the Buccaneers the year we had the run it back tour. But I have a question to you, JD. Should we run it back with the team we have right now, or are there certain things that you want to see kind of changed up or improved going into next year roster-wise?
Oh, yeah. No, you got to make improvements. No doubt about it. I mean, you're running back with your core guys. You can say that. Run it back. Yeah, run it back. Shoot, let's run this thing back just as a Chiefs organization. Now, we know this is just football. This is just business. There's going to be some guys that's not going to be there, period. That's the reality of it. That's the reality. We're going to bring in some new pieces that we feel like we need to bolster offense and defense, right? That's just what it is. So I don't mind the chance running back. Why not? Shoot. We on the top of the mountain. We're on the top of the mountain right now. We're on the mountaintop. Shoot. Talk your talk. Speak your speak. Let it go. Let it fly. Talk about all the good things. Look, we got all these balloons. We got all these balloons and stuff like that for a reason. Okay? The Chiefs is on top, baby. All right, we on top. We are the Super Bowl champs all year. You see this? Kansas City got bragging rights all year. So every other noise, cut it out. Don't want to hear it. Like I told him about, Cincinnati taking that bad chili up there. The Bills, whatever, dealing with it, what they had to deal with. The Kansas City Chiefs are on top, okay? And everybody's got to take a back seat, okay? Mm-hmm. Not against anybody else. It's just what it is, right? It's just what it is. So, hey, man, this is the NFL. The guys played a great game. They played a wonderful season. Hats off to them. They deserve it. They worked hard to get here. After all the naysayers didn't want to give them what they wanted. They didn't want to give Patrick Mahomes his due. He was MVP of the league, of the Super Bowl, okay? He is the man, okay? Period. Point blank. So, with that, man, I'm done. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah. So with that, the running it back stuff, obviously, it's off season time now. So our next episodes from here on out are going to be, talking about guys like Orlando Brown, Does he get that money? Does he get tagged again? Do we let Wiley walk? So gonna be a lot of questions that we're gonna be able to talk about. And also one thing this week, JD, we'll get to a little bit next week. But DeAndre Hopkins and Keenan Allen tweeted right after that Super Bowl talking about Patrick Mahomes' eyes emojis. The Chiefs are number one right now on the Vegas odds to get DeAndre Hopkins. And
boy, ooh, ooh, boy, you get a hot town here? Oh my gosh! Don't say that.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be a fun offseason.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get hot town there in a minute. Okay, make that happen.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. We'll see you guys next week. As we said, we're gonna continue to talk about the offseason stuff because there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. I think we're top 10 in money to spend this coming offseason. So like we have some decisions to make, but we also have the cap flexibility to do some of this stuff. So it's going to be a really fun offseason for us at a time where like Nick Wright said, this was the year to beat us, and it didn't happen. So now we have the money to spend, and on top of that, I mean, the sky's the limit for us. And also epicenter of the NFL world right now, Super Bowl champs, and hosting the NFL draft where we have 11 picks next year. So,
well, listen, man,
it's beautiful.
Look, let's keep our focus, keep our swagger, and being champions, creating a dynasty. You know what I mean? This is who we are. We are the barometer. We are the standard in the NFL right now. Okay, and we got to carry ourselves as such, as champions, and we will. That's going to happen all through the offseason too.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys next week on Chief Concerns. We love you guys. We guys hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you guys next time.
Love y'all. Appreciate y'all coming on, checking us out, man. We're gonna be crazy like this all season. Believe me, we will. All right. Love to hear from you all. Okay. Have a good one today.
See you guys.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.